Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great today. How you doing, Ranjeet?
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what do you
Great.
have today?
Right. Yeah, we got some more questions for you to answer, so we'll just jump right in. All right. Anonymous member asks, how do publications in MSN, India Today, and Tech Bullion featuring articles about me, along with a few of my own write-ups, contribute to meeting the criteria for EB1A eligibility?
Absolutely. You see, one of the most interesting thing about EB1A is that you need to showcase your expertise, and this is a wonderful way of showcasing your expertise. MSN India Today Tech Billion has a large outreach. However, I'm going to give you a word of caution. It is not even if you were to come in, appear in Forbes or even in Time magazine, and for that matter, there is something called as a burden of persuasion of evidence standard that is always upon you. You definitely would need to give some kind of a media kit that is applicable in this particular case. So you will have to give that media kit for stating that what has been the degree of outreach, how many is the viewership, how many people read your article. That's very important. Second thing I would like to kind of give a feedback that and it's very important is that if it is in form of a press release, it may not work for you. It has to be written by a journalist. If you are writing an article, that is good, but always remember that articles, anything, if you are writing or if you are reaching out or if something is written about you, it should position you as an expert. So there is a common thread that flows amongst all the criterias. That is because you are being, it's not, people mistake here. You will get your EB1A not because there is an article about you. It will be because you have a sustained acclaim, and that will benefit the United States, and you will continue the work. That's the fundamental approach, and these are all levers to prove that. So definitely, it's a wonderful, kind of an opportunity that you can leverage, but you have to submit right evidences. So that's wonderful.
Excellent. All right, anonymous member number 2 asks, is it true that USCIS does not consider stock compensation towards the high salary criteria? I work at a tech company where the majority of my compensation comes from stocks and base salaries are capped even at higher levels. High salary for my area is 250,000. My salary base is 190,000. My salary with stock is 315,000. My total compensation, bonus included, is $340,000.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let me share with you that it's not about your base salary. It's about how much. You see, again, I will come back to the same point what I said earlier. You are not going to get your EB1A because you are getting a high salary. It is because you are an expert. Now, again, having with the same argument and logic and rational, uh, it's that somebody is ready to pay you. That's a compensation that you are getting. And now compensation would have multiple facets or multiple ways of you being paid and dimensions. It could be stocks, it could be benefits. The fact remains that somebody is paying you 340, which is one of the very good salaries, I'm sure, everywhere. Whether it is stocks, but please remember, it is not the current value of the stocks that will matter. It is the value of the stocks at the time of the allocation will matter. And if you are getting stocks, it will get represented in your W2 statement. That W2 statement has to be utilized, not the actual market value of the stock. But yes, I mean, I may not like to kind of subscribe to the fact that USCIS would not consider stocks. We have seen people in the program who have applied, and it has been very successfully utilized. So, Patrick, we have today one of our guests, actually, Sri Bhargav. So, I will request him to join.
Awesome.
So, we have here with us Sri Bhargav. Hi, Bhargav. How are you?
History.
Hi Ranjeet, I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. How could I help you today?
Hi Ranjeet. Thanks for this invite, and I have let me present my case with you. So I have been working with a tech company where I'm being compensated more than 200k You have answered question one and two, which gave me a little bit clarity about how to see the EB1A as being a master in the or position as an expert in the tech industry. So that being said, I have paper publications and I have written a book in terms of blockchain and cybersecurity. And I also have two patents filed on my name. So the thing that I'm really missing here is, getting into the respective associations, which is which is difficult to get in. So I believe that is one of the aspect to consider for the criteria in EB1A. So my question is like, what kind of respective associations would be considered for a software engineer?
Okay, now before I jump into answering your question directly, because I know you are going to seek a very focused and specific answer, but I want to give you a word of caution here that fulfillment of criteria do not, entitle you for EB1A. We have even seen in the program and people who joined the program otherwise having fulfilled even 8 criterias and not getting EB1A. So just trying to fit yourself into criteria for the sake of getting into it would not really help. The idea is to present a persuasive story about yourself that will compel USCIS to kind of consider you for EB1A. In fact, you may not fulfill. In fact, there is a very interesting case which I had seen where you may not even fulfill any of the criteria, still get EB1A. I mean, that's at a very extreme level, but on an average, don't push yourself too hard into it. I think from your salary perspective, what you have mentioned, it definitely kind of does it. If there are some kind of a variables, an expert opinion would definitely help. In terms of, you mentioned about contribution also something just now.
Yes, sir. I contributed a book and
Okay, you
also
are on blockchain.
a
Now,
book.
please understand. It's a also would what would matter is whether you have is it a commissioned book or is it a self-published book?
It's a self-published book, meaning
Okay.
I have a publication certificate at a journal.
Okay. Now, if it is a self-publication, then it is bit challenging because then also most important aspect of EB1A, any of the criteria that you are seeing is including the book is what is the impact of that book of your literature of your concept whatever you are talking about, what was the problem that you were trying to address and how it has been solved. You will again need, if you are going for the route of what you can say original contribution, you will have to put expert opinion into it. Even if it is a scholarly article, you will have to say an impact factor which could be either given by citations or some application somebody has used. Now, answering your question very specifically, if you're talking about some kind of membership, there are standard memberships where people are using, and I think there are a few questions also today. People have asked whether IEEE or IET memberships could serve or British Computer Society. So that might be something that you might like to look at.
So, IEEE, if IEEE membership suffice, I am one of the reviewer for the publications. I mean, I review other papers too. So, if that suffices, then I think I'm good.
Okay, it is okay. Also, I always, kind of advise with a caution to all my students that never rely on one particular aspect within the criteria also. It's
Right.
not that one membership will suffice. I mean, there is no point in trying to, be serve at a lowest common denominator. Try to do optimize it. Have a couple of memberships, because most of the people in the program, what we have seen is they would have 3 to 5, elements into each criteria.
Perfect. So, could you give us the names of what other associations that we could try?
Oh, I mean, there are tons of them, Shri. I mean, we have a database of that. If you just reach out to Patrick, maybe we'll just try to send it to you. That's not a problem.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Thank you so
we'll
much,
try
sir.
to give you a couple of more and wish you all the best. Anything else?
I do have a couple of other questions, but I think like I'm good for now. If I could get some time one-on-one, that would be really helpful.
Definitely. I mean, you can just kind of speak to Patrick, and we'll figure this out for you.
Thank you so much, Ranjit,
Okay.
and it's
Wonderful.
precious.
Wish you all the best. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Right.
That was Bhargav, and
Yeah.
wish
I
you
think
all
we
the
had a
best.
live question come in. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Patrick, what is the next question you have?
Sure. Anonymous member number 3 from our group says, "Hello, experts. I'd appreciate your insights on whether the following case qualifies for EB1A. Background: over 20 years of experience in IT, holding a degree in electronics engineering. I have 1 patent. I'm a recipient of multiple internal awards within a global organization, including recognition at the EMEA level, along with securing funding for project execution. I've been invited to judge 3 to 4 forums by government entities in the UAE as well."
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, to be very honest, let's understand that recipient of internal awards by the company, or even if it is a global organization, may not necessarily suffice the purpose for your EB1A awards criteria. But however, this could establish your critical role, or a leading or a critical role in a very for serving the organization in a very strong manner. Now, if you are saying that you are having a 1 patent, you have been recipient of awards. So these are 2 things. So 1 patent, if you are having it, are you the owner of the patent, or it has been assigned to the company? Is there any application to that? And what has been the success metrics and the impact factor because of that? We would have to go a little deeper rather than just saying. You see, just please understand there are 3 dimensions of success for your EB1A. The first is, what is the degree of knowledge that you demonstrate? And definitely your patents do demonstrate that. Second is, what is your progressive experience? Now, progressive experience in terms of your company or whatever you are doing. And the third dimension is the impact factor. Let's understand, when you talk of your knowledge, from a green card perspective, you have your EB1B, you have your, other EB2, which serves the purpose. If you are talking from your work experience, then you again have EB2 partly and EB1C also available for you. Of course, there are different metrics for that. But when it comes to EB1A, it's not only the knowledge that is important, which is relevant. I mean to say that, for example, when you talk about your EB1A, patent does show that you have a knowledge, but it does not by itself demonstrate that there is an impact factor. So I would be very cautious of just going it. And third is judging. Well, one needs to kind of identify what has been the, forums, which are the government entities you are talking about, who were the other judges, how did you perform as a judge, and those kind of aspects. So, I mean, sorry, you need to do more deep dive into it rather than, but with these 3, what I'm sensing it may not be a kind of profile ready for the purpose of just filing the application, because there would be a strong, could be potentially, unless of course I'm missing out something or something is not written here. But with just 3 things, it might be very challenging, and I want to be very candid about it. So, Patrick, we have 2 people who have just kind of placed questions here, and
Excellent.
let me take up this question here. Now, Rachna is asking, "Hi Ranjit, I'm pursuing my PhD in management, subject from India, Hyderabad, and about to finish it off in the coming year. Is there any chance?" Well, of course, this is a very, very broad question. We can go for 1 hour about this. But by itself, doing a PhD is not a sufficient. I just mentioned it's not about your knowledge and experience also, for that matter, which is not relevant on your single question. And what is the impact factor? Is there some new concept that you're talking, some company used it? I mean, just to give you a perspective, let's say you're doing on HRM and you devised a mechanism for human resource capital, a concept, which many companies are using it in balance sheets. It has been accepted by international accounting standards or Indian accounting standards. So something like this, it has been done, and there is a large scale impact. You got an award because of that. You are being recognized, so that your company where you are working is appreciating your work. So that level, EB1A would make sense. By itself, a PhD or even pursuing a PhD would not make any sense, even So one has to be, I would, take with a caution actually. So that would be my response, Swati. Wish you all the best, but there is definitely a good scope. It may take some time, but I will be more than happy to do that. Okay, now there is another question I have. Is Deepak Kulkarni. I'm attempting a critical role criteria and I'm getting the letters from all my seniors, including directors, VPs, and executives. What should be the wording of specific phrase that I should be using to meet? It is mandatory to have an impact showing the numbers, for example. Yes. Yeah, finally, it is very important. Remember one thing, when you're working with a company, somebody is paying you X amount. Now, what have you done to give it back? So definitely there will be some kind of a performance metrics. So based on that performance metrics, it could be dollar, it could be saving time, it could be serving, and moreover, it has to be linked to your expertise. So this forum right now on a call would be very short time to kind of give you a response on what should be the wording. But if you reach back to us, we have some general structure that we are happy to share with you. So please reach out to us, Deepak, and we'll be happy to kind of offer you the structure. And the last question that I'm taking is again from Deepak, which says that regarding the media coverage, it needs to be reported publication or media, but what are the key points that need to be focused while publishing my achievement? A very good question. It needs to be, number one, it has to be linked to your expertise. Number two, what is it that your expertise has created the impact has to be mentioned. Let's look at Deepak. I mean, if you look at any news item normally, any expert or any impactful or any extraordinary whom you consider in any field, there would be certain profiling that will be done, not just a feature. There is a difference between a feature that might help if there are multiple publications, but for the purpose of EB1A, I would like to see something which is deeper and impact of your work and your expertise. So, I mean, it all depends on what is, because even publications would have a particular style and way of reporting a media coverage for an individual. They have a standard format. I mean, if you're talking about Forbes, it would have a particular way of doing things. If it is a, Time, or if it is a, MSN, they would have a particular format of doing it. But yes, the consistency is that there needs to be very specific about, about your expertise and the impact factor, that I would say. So friends, that's all we have for today. So Patrick, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was great meeting with you to answer these questions.
Absolutely. And they also provoke us actually. And friends, if you want to join the program, reach out to Patrick. He's a director of enrollment. If you have more questions, we will be more than happy to help you. And if you want to participate in this forum, we'll be happy to take you. Just let us know, Patrick, or you can just DM to us. We'll be happy to kind of reach out to you.
Yep.
So that's wonderful, and wish you all the best and happy Saturday once again. Bye-bye.
Thanks. See ya.